Hey, what's up, guys? This is Izix. Today's topic, or this week's topic, is talking about how being trans affects your identities. Um, Personally, being trans, some of the things that I noticed that changed as far as identity and the way I identified was like dating. I always identified as a lesbian before transition. Um, so, I went from being really butch or stud to now being a straight guy. So that's one of the identities that changed because not used to not being a part of that spectrum, that LGBT spectrum, which I understand we're the T, but at the same time is like being considered heterosexual and passing more kind of like makes me feel personally like we become invisible in a way at the gay bars, because if they're not hitting on you assuming that you're gay, and you just kind of seem like the creepy straight person at a lesbian bar or the weird straight guy at a gay bar. So that was one of the things that I noticed that changed as far as like my identity with being trans. On top of that, something else that has changed as far as like identifying and being trans is, aside from that, the being straight thing, just identifying as trans in general, just getting used to some of the changes that come along with it, like things you wouldn't expect to change that end up changing. Like, even when you were still like butch or like stud, guys would still hold doors for you or treat you a little bit different just because you're still a girl. So completely passing and being a full-on male, those things change, and you don't expect to feel weird about them changing, but they do change. So that was something I had to adjust to, just because I was like used to little things, and when all that goes away, it's like, okay, it takes you back a little bit. So that's one of the things. On top of that, I was a drag king for like 3 years before I got to the passing point, because I started performing in 13. Yeah, 13, and we're at 17 now, almost 18. I was performing a lot for like the first good 2 years, and then after like that second year, I just took a break because this isn't makeup anymore. And it doesn't wipe off. I don't glue it on. It doesn't fall off after so many hours of wear. So it made me feel like I wasn't doing drag anymore because it wasn't a mask. It wasn't something that I could remove at the end of the night. But with drag, that's what kind of made me come to terms with everything. Because, like, if y'all have watched any of my other videos, I came to terms with it later in life. And it took drag making me realize, hey, stupid, you need to go and meet with someone and get yourself evaluated and come to terms with the fact that I'm trans. So that took me a while. It took me like the first year of performing and denying it to myself that, yeah, I'm trans. And I came to terms with it. And I think the reason why I struggled more to come to terms with it was because I grew up in a Baptist household and down in the South, and you always get told that you need Jesus or you need God, you need religion in your life, and prayers are going to change things. So that's what I'd always been told. So it took me some time to get used to it and come to terms with it. So yeah, me personally, those are the things that I've noticed a change as far as like the way I identify and after being trans. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up, guys, and I'll see y'all next week.